A lady called me in panic. She already signed a contract on an apartment in Elizabeth Bay in Sydney. She loved it. She was ready to exchange, and she called me last minute just to complete the due diligence and the Strata report. That one phone call saved her $150,000 financial disaster. Because what I found inside that Strata report was a completely different story from what was presented to her. She had no idea, and neither would you, unless you knew exactly what to look for. So today I'm going to show you what to check before you ever make an offer on a property in Australia. Not after, not during, before. My name is Perry and I am a buyer's agent based in Sydney, and I don't work for the vendor, I work for the buyer. I've negotiated 100 deals across the eastern suburbs and beyond. I've been featured in the Australia Financial Review and the Daily Telegraph, and I've built this channel for one reason: to give buyers insider knowledge to make sure you don't get screwed. Because this is the truth. The real estate agent doesn't work for you. They work for the vendor. Their job is to get the highest possible price for the vendor. Your job is to protect yourself. And most buyers walk into the process completely blind. So let's fix that. So every week I see the same mistake. Buyers fall in love with a property. At the moment that happens, the judgment goes out of the window. They see the photo, they go to the open home, they start to have a picture in mind where the furniture goes in the living area, and the couch there, and the TV there, and they rush to make an offer before someone else does. That emotional pressure is exactly what the competition wants. And that's what real estate agents are trained to do. They need to create the competition. Don't forget, they work for the vendor. That's called urgency manufacturing. And it works every single time on buyers who don't have a process. So what's the solution? The solution is a checklist. Before you ever put an offer pen to paper, means on a contract. Not after you fall in love for a property. Before. So let me tell you what happened with my client. She called me on Friday afternoon. She's been to the open home. She loved the apartment, Elizabeth Bay, inner Sydney. Great location. Beautiful building from the street. She already had the contract reviewed, and she did everything by herself, feeling confident, until she said, all right, let me consult Perry, the buyer's agent, just to make sure. This is the last step. Everything looks good. Just a quick look on the Strata report before she exchanged. Now, most people, they have a quick look at the Strata report, but they struggle to find the little details. The skeleton in the closet. So they get the Strata report, 200 pages. They skip the first few pages. They skim me through. Done. Looks great. So I read the old things, and what I found was this. At the first glance, great apartment, great building, ticked all the boxes. Once I got into the Strata report, was a completely different picture emerged. The sinking fund was effectively empty. The building had existing defects. The lift need repairs. The roof need a full replacement. The estimated cost for each owner around $150,000 each. My clients had no idea, and nobody told her. So after I find out, she walked away from the deal. And that decision saved her $150,000 plus on the top of the purchase price. So imagine if she hadn't called. So what you should actually checking before you make an offer. So I'm going to walk you through 5 things. And if you're buying an apartment, number 2 is the one that catches almost everyone. So number 1 is the contract of sale. Most of the buyers, they don't even look at the contract until they are too emotionally invested. And that's too late. So get the contract of sale at the open home or request it from the real estate agents before going back to the second inspection. And have your solicitor or conveyancer review the contract properly. Make sure you look at all of these special clauses, special conditions, anything that the vendor has disclosed. A contract review costs a few $100s. There are lawyers, they don't charge anything just to review the contract. And there are a few lawyers that charge for 3 contract reviews. But it's very important to invest the money because it could save you thousands. There are no excuses to do that. Number 2 is the Strata report. And that was the one that cost my clients nearly $150,000 plus. So for any apartment that you looking to buy, you need to order the Strata report and actually read it through. Or give it to someone they know what they're doing. please don't get your cousin or grandparents because they bought properties 50 years ago. So as much as they're helpful, it's very important to consult a professional. And one of them is the conveyancer. Because 200 pages of body corporate minutes is not a light reading. And most of the buyers, as soon as they see these 200-300 pages PDF, they're like, what the hell is this? So this is what you're looking for. Within the Strata report, you're looking for the sinking fund balance. This is kind of the building savings account. These are the money set aside for future maintenance and capital works. If is it too low or empty, then money has to come from somewhere. And that somewhere is you, through the special levies. Other things that you look for within the Strata report is the pending special levies, expected extra cost coming up. Means, has the owner corporation already voted to raise the funds to do the work in the block? And you need to know this before you buy. Because once you exchange, the bill is yours. It doesn't matter when it was raised. Often I face people, they sell in their apartment because they didn't agree to that special levies, but because majority of people who owns in the block, they voted yes, they have to absorb the cost. So there are some owners that just sell the property instead. Next thing you need to check within the Strata report are meeting minutes. What are the owners actually fighting about? What's a structural defect they had in the past? A dispute with a builder or a contractor. And these things can be dragged out for a very long time, even years. That's all in the AGM minutes, meeting minutes. And I suggest you to read the last 2 to 3 years minimum. Other things you need to check are building defects and ongoing litigation. If the building is in a dispute with the developer, and I've seen few, that's a red flag. Unresolved issues. Legal cost, uncertainty, none of that is priced when you try to buy a home. These are the costly surprises that show up that you didn't expect. The Strata report that I checked for the lady in Elizabeth Bay, they had all of these red flags. Empty sinking funds, existing defect, problem with the lift, roof that need to be replaced. Every single one can be problematic. But altogether, that's $150,000 mistake. So read the report or hire someone else who's done it before multiple times who will. So number 3 is building a pest report. This is especially when you are buying a house. I don't care how good the property looks. I don't care if it was renovated last year. Get an independent pest and build inspection done before you exchange. And I mean independent, not the one that's been done 12 months ago from someone else. I've seen beautiful, good-looking houses hiding termite damage behind freshly painted wall. And the inspector find it in 20 minutes. When you buy an apartment, the Strata report is the main important one, but you can even add another layers, and I suggest you to do it, especially if the block of the apartment is a little bit older, and is always worth that few $100 extra cost. Number 4 is flood, bushfire, and zoning overlays. This one costs you nothing to check. $0. 10 to 15 minutes, you go online, go on the council planning portal, and most buyers never do it, especially for a house. There is something called the flood zone, and especially for new developments, or maybe you buying a house and you want to make sure your neighbors is not going to knock down, rebuild, and you're going to have 2-3 years of noise. You go on the council website, there is something called DA tracker, and you can check the streets, the suburbs, and everything that has been approved. So you want to check, is it flood affected? And there are different levels of flood zone. Is it a bushfire prone? Is there heritage protected? Are there easement cutting across the land? And here is why matters more than people realize. These things follow the property forever. These are the things that you can't really change. Because yes, you can negotiate the price. Yes, you can do renovation, change the kitchen, change the bathroom. But you can't unflood a flood area. So I got someone that called me after they purchased the property to do some check-ins. And we found out it was the flood area. The insurance was 3 times higher than the average. They can't pull out anymore. There's a type of cost that he had to live with every single year. That cost never goes away. So that extra 20 minutes before putting an offer is worth your time. Number 5, days on market at comparable sales. Before you put an offer, do your homework on the property itself. How long has it been on the market? What's the vendor's expectation on price? Did it go down with time? What the apartment in the block 2 levels up did sell for? 2 months ago. If the property has been on the market for 30, 40, 60 plus days and the price has already dropped once, the vendor is nervous. That's not a red flag for you, that's leverage. And you as a buyer, you want to take advantage of it. A lot of buyers walk in and offer the asking price because they don't know any better. Don't have to be the buyer. The data is public. It's free on domain and realestate.com.au. You can use RP data if you have access. Just spend the 30 minutes before you spend $500,000. And there you go. So here is the thing. None of this is complicated. You don't need to be a property expert. You just need to know what to ask for and what to look for when you get it. My clients almost exchanged on this Elizabeth Bay apartment carrying $150,000 of a hidden cost. One phone call, one Strata report, that's all it took. So imagine if she didn't do that. And that's the reason I built this channel. I want to give the information that protect buyers, and these are the stuff that I use every single day as a full-time buyer's agent. And most of the buyers, they never get access to. If this was helpful, please drop a comment below. If something like this happened to you, or if you ever found something in the due diligence that stopped the deal. I'll see you next time. You!